What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mythic Plus. Today we are going to do yet another Floodgate run. This time we're going to be doing it on my Demon Hunter. I've been playing this character just a little bit more than I usually would, so just getting a little bit of practice on this and going for 3k as usual. I'm pretty close to after this run, but figured we would get another Floodgate in, and this run goes a lot better than the previous one as well. So right here, we're going to do a pretty standard pull, pop Lust off the rip, and do the normal thing. We're going to pop Meta as we're gathering the pull, just to make sure that we don't get taken too low, and just do a ton of damage as this pull gets started. So yeah, just going to be doing the usual rotation. As soon as we get set up, we're pretty much going to be unkillable in this sort of situation. So yeah, I think that's really the thing that I've been struggling most with Vengeance, is just getting into the pull and actually getting set up. Once you're set up, then you feel pretty durable. There was something that someone told me when I first started playing Vengeance Demon Hunter that I don't think I've heard from a lot of other Vengeance mains, and that was just kind of focus on generation of souls rather than consuming souls. I know when I first started playing this character, I definitely struggled with just the self-healing, the level of self-healing that you needed, and I would prioritize like Soul Cleave, like I see it light up, and it's just like the thing that you want to press because it's lit up and all that sort of stuff. But having Immolation Aura and spamming Fracture as much as humanly possible is much, much better. You're going to automatically consume those souls, and that can be much, much more beneficial for your overall sustain. The other video that was really, really helpful was actually Yoda's video on just cooldown usage for Vengeance Demon Hunters. Upon first inspection, Vengeance doesn't really have any big cooldowns necessarily, so that was something that was really, really helpful. You do have to play around things like Fiery Brand and things like Immolation Aura to give you a lot of durability. Fiery Brand will obviously reduce the damage that things do to you. It'll spread around the entire pull. It does a ton of damage, gives you a ton of leech, so that's something you should play around. And then Immolation Aura gives you 20% armor, does damage, and usually knocks maximum souls out of targets, so it'll give you a huge burst of healing and make you pretty much unkillable for the duration. So that's something that I'm going to try and keep in mind and just point out as I'm going through this run. It's going to be something that we play around with quite a bit, especially on bosses when you just want to be more durable at very specific times. I know when I first started playing this class, this season especially, I just didn't really, I don't know. I was like, I don't have Fel Dev, I don't have Meta, I don't have any cooldowns, which isn't necessarily the case. You always have some good damage reduction. So we're going to go into this next pull here. We're going to go ahead and drop Sigil of Flame, go ahead and gather, leap through the pull so that we can take as few auto attacks as possible as we're gathering this up. Pop Fel Dev because that is a surefire way to get aggro, and then group everything up at the bottom of these stairs where we know these loader bots are going to cast their wind up. Get a nice stun on those, wait for them to cast it, and then we're going to Chaos Nova, interrupt all that, use the Hunt for some extra healing and damage reduction, and pop Immolation Aura, and at this point, we cannot die. There's simply no shot. We are just going to be absolutely chilling, using Fracture on cooldown, and then using Pain Spikes and all that sort of stuff to generate, to make sure that we have our damage reduction going, and making sure that we keep 5 souls out, consuming them with Soul Cleave as well, every so often. So yeah, again, you'll automatically consume the souls, so you don't need to worry about spamming Soul Cleave. Even if you hit it and it still says 5, if you generate more souls, they'll get automatically consumed. So going into Big Mama here, pretty beefy boss we got ourselves going with. So we're going to Fel Dev here so that we can soak the first Electro Crush with Meta. Going to make us much, much tankier here. And then we are just going to cleave all of the adds. Our Hunter is doing some absolute work on this pull as well, so we're going to get this first set of adds taken down pretty quickly. And then we're going to focus on Big Mama. We know the next Electro Crush is coming, so we have Immolation Aura and Fiery Brand to deal with that one. And that will buy time for the next one. We'll have Fel Dev up, we'll have regular Meta up, we'll have a lot of mitigation at our disposal, but we shouldn't even get another Electro Crush because we are taking out these adds so unbelievably quickly. So we'll get the first jump start, and I'm going to just pop Darkness just to diffuse a bunch of the damage that we will be taking off this. Our healer is going to be able to keep us very, very healthy this entire time. And we'll get the next set of adds. Make sure those fully spawn here. Get a nice little Sigil of Flame and try and get some aggro on those before we actually move. Feldev, that Electro Crush, giving us a lot of durability as we eat that up. And then we have Fiery Brand coming up pretty soon, so we will have some good mitigation for the next Electro Crush that does come out. We also have access to the Hunt, which will put a pretty big damage reduction debuff on the enemy. So there we go. We'll just eat that one up with Fiery Brand and Immolation Aura. Plenty of extra armor there, plenty of damage reduction from Fiery Brand, so we don't have to worry about getting one shot by that at all. Obviously, we're going to be keeping Pain Spikes active as well. And there we go. We'll get the next jump start, and we will just do a bunch of damage, as much as we possibly can. Ordinarily, I would pull a couple Contractors in with Big Mama, but I think sometimes these pulls can be a little bit easier if you just don't do that. So I just figure we'll just deal with this boss. This boss has definitely wiped a few groups of mine in the past, so anything that we can do to make this more clean is something that we want to do for sure. So we'll start kiting back as the electric puddle that the boss spawns after the intermission starts to grow a little bit. And we'll go ahead and rinse and repeat and get rid of these adds. Unfortunately, they are going all over the place. The Warlock is standing very, very far away, so we're not going to be able to control the frontals that these guys do, and they're going to take a while to get back into melee where we can actually reliably cleave them. Big Mama is also going to have just slightly more HP than we want her to have, so we will actually end up getting the kilovolt block barrier, whatever it is called, and we're going to have to finish off these adds before she gets this monstrous damage reduction. So we'll get the barrier. It's going to start pulsing some big damage on us as well, and we just have to try and kill these mecha drones. Yeah, if you were a range, don't stand way over there where the Warlock is standing. It's just so far out of the way. It just makes these guys go all over the place. So next pull here, we're going to grab these two Contractors over on the right and take them into this Blood Warper. We're going to use Immolation Aura to make sure that we don't get bricked off the rip. Feldev, so we are pretty much unkillable for the next 4 or 5 seconds. And that gives us time to set up, use both of our Fracture charges, generate some souls. Immolation Aura comes off cooldown, so we're going to have plenty of armor, and then we are A-okay. So that is how I've been living pretty much every pull. I'm missing quite a bit of gear on this guy still, but I still feel very, very tanky in this key. I'm not really struggling to survive in any sense of the word. So if you are playing the back half of this season and looking to get into Vengeance Demon Hunter, just play around the cooldowns that don't feel like cooldowns. You don't need Meta or Feldev to have a successful pull, especially on Alterachi Reaver. So right here, we're going to use Feldev, just make sure that we get some good threat, and then we're going to pop Meta just to make sure we don't get bricked off the rip until we actually get set up. So we're going to pop Immolation Aura and just Fracture, Pain Spikes, and now we have everything rocking and rolling. We have Meta going, Pain Spikes going, Immolation Aura going. Nothing should be killing us in that window. So we'll get this pull nice and gathered. I'm not able to, unfortunately, help the healer out, so we're just going to focus on the Demolitionist here, making sure that we interrupt those reloads as much as possible, making sure that that guy doesn't get another cast off, because he's effectively a dead mob if he can't do anything. And we will kill this Blood Warper here. And yeah, we are making really, really good time. We've got Big Mama dead, about 50% trash, and we are going to go into 2 more pulls before we are ready for the second boss. And so right here, we're going to try and kill this scaffolding here and get this Architect brought down to the ground just so that he can be moved into this next pull. Making sure to get kicks on these Surveyors when we're able to. I like to pull this pack a little bit further back. Unfortunately, we're not close enough to the scaffolding, so I try and move a little closer just so that we can get some cleave on this scaffolding without being too close to the wall right here. I don't want to pull any bomb crabs in with this pull like I've accidentally done before. So we're going to keep a bit of distance, make sure the Architect is aggroed on us, and then we're going to pull him away from the wall. I don't want to get bombshell crabs in this pull. It just makes it a lot more annoying. You get all that guaranteed damage, and it hits the tank a little bit harder. Unfortunately, this one architect is going to have significantly more HP than everything else in the pull, so he's going to die just a touch slower, but we have plenty of time. We are doing okay at this point. So right here, we're going to go ahead and drag him up the stairs and just kind of finish him off. I don't really want to chain pull this guy into something else. It can be kind of annoying, so I'm just trying to finish this architect off before I get into this kind of nasty pull we have going on up here. So we'll Sigil of Flame, throw glaive just to get everything gathered, and then we'll Feldev to secure the threat on everything. And then we're looking to interrupt these surveyors as much as possible. So I'm going to drop a Silent Sigil, silence the one that is about to come into the pack. And then we'll get rocking and rolling. During that window of Feldev, we're going to get our Fiery Brand going, we're going to get our Immolation Aura going, we're going to get Hunt going, and now we have all of our damage reduction, so we should be pretty much immortal in this pull. We'll get a nice kick on that Surveying Beam and just polish off these Shredinators. This next boss is going to be probably the best version of this boss that I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen bomb patterns that have lined up this perfectly. So you might have a little bit of a different, if you've not done this dungeon, if you're new to the season, that sort of thing, you're definitely not going to have bomb patterns the same as this one, or at least not often. But this was actually kind of crazy how easy the bombs spawned for us in this run. So we'll go ahead and just pop some damage here. We're going to be pretty much using all of our cooldowns for damage at this point. I'm not worried about these wall-ups. I'm not worried about anything that this boss does. We're going to Bloodlust, just absolutely cook these two. And I actually end up losing threat on Bront here because our Hunter is blasting. So that's a little bit awkward. But as you can see, our bomb spawns are phenomenal. We have 4 in a row on the left and then 2 in a row on the other side. So our Warlock is going to send Bront towards the back of the room, making sure to clip that bomb, and then we'll get another charge over to the Paladin over on the left-hand side there, and then we know his third charge is always going to target the tank, so I will be charged last, and we'll have Bront end up right back next to the boss, or the other boss, I should say. And right here, they're both getting pretty low, and we've only done one intermission phase of bombs, so just going to keep up the cleave, and we actually get another set of very, very good bombs. As you can see, we have 4 in a row and then 2 in the corner. So I could have moved Bront here and actually had the charge hit all 4, but the angle is slight enough where we can just get 1 charge in, 1 charge back, and then the third charge will hit me. I don't even need to hit any bombs, so I can just sit on Kiza the entire time. So yeah, we will get the the Kinetic Explosive Gel for the second time. They can insta-dispel that. We don't need to do any bombs with it. And this is the last intermission phase that we actually have to deal with. So, yeah, we just absolutely cook this boss. Our Hunter is absolutely blasting. And these were some of the most, like, the highest damage pugs I think I've played with in a little bit, especially on a 12. So that was very, very nice in this key. Gave me a good chance to practice and be sort of carried, I guess I would say. So right here, we're going to make sure someone clicks on the gun, someone clicks the stockpiles, and then we will go right into this next pull. This next pull can be a little bit scary, so I probably wouldn't do this. I don't know, I would do this. I probably would do this, let's be honest, on most characters. But having Silent Sigil or Beam is definitely preferable on this pull. I'm going to pop Feldev just to make sure that I live, Sigil of Chains to get everything nice and stacked up, pop Trinket, Hunt, Immolation Aura, and I'm chilling. So now I'm trying to just get set up during my meta window. I know I'm not going to die in meta, so make sure to generate some souls and do that sort of thing. So right here, we're going to Silent Sigil all the Disturbed Kelps after we use a little bit of CC to stop the Jettison Kelps. So we'll stop the rejuvenating cast that they do. We'll let a couple of Jettison Kelps start to go off and then kick a Restorative Algae there, making sure to use every stop that we possibly can. Unfortunately, this pull dies just a little bit slower, so we end up letting some casts go off. I could have used Fear Sigil here as well, so that's probably on me for letting this go off, but our healer handles it like an absolute champ. And unfortunately, this one Disturbed Kelp has the rejuvenation on him. As you can see, it heals for a ridiculous, ridiculous amount. We're all just blasting into him, and he's just not dying. But it's okay. It's okay. We end up getting to Swamp Face here with 18 minutes on the clock, so plenty of time to time this key. This is going to be significantly better. I know my other one was a little bit higher of a key level, but this is going to be a pretty quick run here. And so right here, we just want to make sure to definitely pull with Taunt. This guy has meleeed people before if they're a little bit too close. So we're going to Hunt. We have that damage reduction on him, and we are going to Fiery Brand him just so that the Sludge Claws isn't going to hit us for too much. Move to the left for the Mudslide cast there. And then Awaken the Swamp is going to come out. I have Darkness, so I'm going to use Darkness the first time here. And there we go. So all those pools, very, very dodgeable. We're going to Fell Devastation so that we're in meta for this Sludge Claws. Plenty of extra health, plenty of extra armor, sitting in a good spot there. And then we're going to use Mudslide again here. So we're going to move to the left. Everyone is staying nice and stacked on top of each other. I was kind of thinking about saving the Hunt for the next Sludge Claws, but I just decided to use it for damage here. I have access to meta and my trinket as well as like Health Stone and stuff like that, so I'm feeling pretty confident. We're going to pop Fiery Brand and Immolation Aura, so we're going to soak up that next Sludge Claws pretty easily. Pop Trinket here for damage. And right here, we're just kind of doing a DPS rotation. We're just using Fracture on cooldown, using Sigil of Misery for that single target damage. Trying to keep Sigil of Flame up whenever we possibly can. And then the next Sludge Claws should be coming in here in a second. So we are going to Fell Dev, make sure that we have plenty of health to deal with that. The next Mudslide will come in, so we'll move to the left. And there we go. Yeah, this boss is just going down very, very easily. We'll just make sure to live this Awaken the Swamp. This healer has been MVPing it the entire run, so we're not really worried about dying here. And that is A-okay. So, yeah, this boss ends up going down very, very easily. We get Fiery Brand up just in time to reduce some of the damage on that Sludge Claws cast. And one more Mudslide, and the boss should be going down in this next intermission. So, yeah, very, very easy boss. Honestly, the more I do this boss, the more it just feels like a rinse and repeat fight. So, don't need to worry too much about this guy at all. Unfortunately, the hardest boss in the dungeon is coming up. We'll have to deal with Bubbles here in a second. So, we'll make our way down here. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger the RP on these guys over here. We will pull Bubbles and then pull them back around the corner. And we'll stack up with our team here just to make sure all the bubbles are a little bit out of the way, at least for the first intermission here. And we'll go ahead and just like hunt for damage. And this guy ends up going down really, really quickly. As you can see, he's losing a ton of health very, very fast. So this is where... Yeah, I don't really know why. I mean, this is like the fastest Bubbles kill that I think I've ever actually had. So it's very nice to see him just kind of melt. Definitely helps our healer out, especially just not having to heal too many of those backwashes that we most people have just kind of wiped to on higher keys, especially. So any kind of defensives that we have going on here. And the Paladin healer is just absolutely working. He's just keeping everybody above 90% health that entire time, so feeling pretty good. Our Warlock actually dies there after the fact, so not ideal, but I decided to just pull without him. And these mobs actually end up hitting me really, really hard here. I'm not really sure why. So I end up popping meta. I'll pop Silent Sigil on the mobs on the bridge just to make sure that they run into this pull with nothing in between them. We'll Sigil of Chains to get everything nice and stacked up for our team. And then all of our stops will just be going into these electricians. Blind, stuns, everything like that. The electricians are really the only thing that you need to worry about in this pull. The slow purple casts are just really a non-issue. So we're going to Fear Sigil, Flame Sigil, all that sort of stuff. Do some good damage to these guys. And I actually do have my kick up there. There we go. We'll get one more kick on these electricians. And they put a pretty nasty dot on you as well. So if you're not kicking those, what are you doing? What are you doing? And we'll kill this last Dark Fuse Inspector. And having 13 minutes on the clock, we're feeling very, very confident. We have pretty much two pulls left, and then the final boss here. So popping Immolation Aura and Pain Spikes as we're getting these collected, just so they don't get too bricked. And then Fel Dev right as we get the pull gathered. Use Hunt on the Jump Starter for plenty of healing. Don't have access to Silent Sigil, so these electricians might get a few more casts off than we are used to, but that is a-okay. Still going to try and use Sigil of Chains and my kick to mitigate as much damage as possible. And I can't get this Jump Starter to stand in front of me, but that is okay. We'll end up just keep generating souls, Soul Cleave, and all that sort of stuff. Use your Throwglaive procs whenever you can. Keep Immolation Aura up as much as you can as well. And this class feels phenomenal once you start getting a little bit more gear. Definitely earlier in the season, it felt like I was just dying to absolutely everything for no reason, but it feels much better now, So we'll go into this last pack. We don't have Lust available, so it's not really an issue. So we'll go ahead and take this out. And yeah, these don't really deal any damage to Demon Hunters, it feels like. I know I struggle with this pull on my Paladin, just rotating cooldowns to live all these Spark Slams and stuff. But Demon Hunter feels like you have a lot of ways to survive this, just with Hunt healing you and all that sort of stuff. And then Fiery Brand spreading between the two targets. Feels very, very good. So we're going to ping 1 to focus. We're going to take out the one on the right here. And then as soon as one of these jump starters dies, then you're in a good spot. So we'll go ahead and take out this last jump starter and go for the final boss here. I should have probably started the RP just a touch sooner, just because now we have to wait for the boss to actually spawn. But we are totally fine on time, so don't need to worry about that too much. So we'll go ahead and pop Immolation Aura, Taunt Hunt off the rip, just to make sure that we get some hefty threat on this boss. Since we have Bloodlust going, I'm not going to commit Darkness or anything like that. If I was a DPS, I probably wouldn't commit any defensives here as well. The healer should be able to heal through that with Bloodlust rocking and rolling. So right here, we're going to Fiery Brand the boss here and use Fel Dev, so that Thunder Punch is going to hit us for absolutely nothing. And now we're just going to do our DPS rotation. Just Soul Cleave. Probably Soul Cleave a little bit more on the boss because we want to keep these stacks of Frailty up as much as humanly possible. And right here we get a nice Leaping Sparks here because our whole team is ranged, so we don't have to worry about running those over any melee or anything like that. And then we will Hunt. Make sure we have a big damage reduction going for that Thunder Punch. We also had Immolation Aura active and Pain Spikes, so we're going to soak that up easy. I type to stack for this next one, and then ping myself. This next turbocharge, we don't have Lust going, so this is where I'm going to choose to commit Darkness. The Evoker actually uses his little self AoE heal there too, and we will eat up this turbocharge, no problem at all. And then we're going to position our back towards the side of the room here, because Thunder Punch should be coming out in a second. We will Hunt preemptively, knowing that that damage reduction will be on him. We'll meta, we will Immolation Aura, and that Thunder Punch is once again going to hit us for absolutely nothing. So the boss is getting pretty low now, still about 9 minutes on the clock, so even if we wiped here, we would still be sitting in a pretty decent situation. We get another pool over to the right-hand side, so we'll drag the Leaping Sparks through that. We'll Fel Devastation, knowing that the Thunder Punch is coming. I definitely do mistime it, I think, just slightly. I could have used it a bit later, but ends up working out. Not going to take hardly any damage from that. And we'll just keep doing our DPS rotation. Our healer falls pretty low there. We're just going to pop Trinket, do some dam, and the boss will get taken out. So yeah, that's the dungeon. If you learned anything in this video, leave a comment below. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll try and keep getting some more content to you guys. I know it's been a little bit slow recently, but we will try and make sure that becomes a much more regular thing. So thank you all for your patience. Again, leave a like on the video if you liked it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.